Welcome in to those of you who are going to watch this later on in life and not while we are live. This is just a chit chat. Kind of get ready for me, or get ready with me. Just discussing life as an atheist, one who travels the world, moves freely, is ungovernable or punishable or whatever people say. A black woman who is very much not with none of the status quo. And why we should make that normal. I did a social experiment and I posted it to TikTok. I think I didn't post it here on YouTube, but I will, as a short where I walked around with my atheist t-shirt and approached people in the Bible Belt where I was living. And I asked them, no, I didn't ask him. I told them I was an atheist, as my shirt boldly said, and that I hoped that my atheism didn't ruin their day. And they were all looking at me like I had two heads because they were like, well, why would that ruin my day? Why would that affect me in any way? Excuse me. So I absolutely loved that response. I wish that it was more of the norm. But what can I say? That was my very small sample size of 3 individuals. 2 who were white, 1 who was black, 2 were male, 1 was a woman. And all of them were, I don't know. If I had to guess, like 50 plus. Yeah, I would say all of them were like 50. Or, yeah, maybe 40. For sure 40 plus. But yeah, so from my very tiny sample size, it looks like nobody really gives a if other people are atheists. And it is, if I was to go off of that, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, cool. It's normal. It's normal, so I have no work here to do. I don't have to normalize atheism because it's already normal. But I know that that is not true, and I wish for it to be true, which is why I personally don't shut up about it. I'm not here try to like proselytize or evangelize, but all I'm saying is like, yeah, it should just be normal. So as we get ready and as we chit chat, I am just going to glue on las pestañas. These, what's the names? I shouldn't have started with the inners. These lashes. It's going to be a little interesting because, yeah. Oh, I don't know if I could do this on camera. Instead of a mirror. Oh, Lord. Okay. Oh, this is, where's my other phone? Okay, I need a phone. Or something. Hopefully you can hear me properly. We're not doing that. Hello? Oh, I thought I answered the phone. I thought I hung up, but then it looked like it answered, so that's why I said hello. This shit is blurry. What in the world? Why would it be blurry, of all things, to be? Anyways, all right, we're just gonna try again. Hey, y'all, thank you for being here. This is very, very, very informal. I think I got glue on my nails. It's just a little bit of a disaster, I can't lie. But yeah, on YouTube Live, I guess I can only see that you are interacting with me if you type in the chat, and if you don't, then I just assume you're staring at me. Just because. Just because. So this set is going to be interesting. I'm not sure exactly. I'm just going to glue the whole thing. Glue. I hate this glue. Apparently they have lashes that are already adhesive and sticky. Yeah, So I don't know how this works on YouTube. I don't know. Like, unless you have your notifications on, like when I go live, I don't know if you're notified. If YouTube does anything to let you know that I'm live, but I'm gonna just, wait for y'all to come on in. Hi, Nora. Hello, hello. Wait for y'all to come on in and join me. I don't know that included anything. Where are you all chiming in from? Where are you joining the live from? Dígame. Oh, I should use a mirror because this ain't working. This camera is blurry and it's just not meant to be. It is not meant to be. Cambridge, Massachusetts. Peace, young queen. I'm here to support the channel. Thank you, Jabbar. Thank you, thank you. Cambridge, Massachusetts. How far is that from Boston? That is admittedly the only city that I know in Boston. Oh my goodness, I kind of did like a bit of a deep dive, not that deep, but into the history of Native Americans in the United States and their plight and all that. And I know it sounds crazy. I just blame everything on the American education system, but Massachusetts is a native name. So it's like Minnesota and Iowa and Nebraska. Those I knew, but Massachusetts, I don't know. I didn't really know that one. Or I guess I never thought about it. Delaware, all of them. All the names are native of sorts. But yeah, so the deep dive that I did, this was actually just yesterday. I wanted to find out if those people who call themselves FBA, Foundational Black Americans, if they had any merit or validity. Like, everybody's so quick to like shoot other people down and, tell them who they are. For example, like a Christian would say something to an ex-Christian, like, you were never a Christian. Like, how can you tell somebody who or what they are? And I say that with a bit of an asterisk, but still. So I'm just like, okay, let me hear them out. I don't got no skin in the game. I don't got no dog in the fight because my ass is not American. I know where my people come from. So the FBAs, the Foundational Black Americans, who just vehemently hate being labeled as African. Good Lord, you would have thought. I don't know what you would have thought the way they hate being called African. So I was just like, okay, well, they mean that with their chest. They mean that very wholeheartedly. So perhaps they have there's some truth there. Like, hey, maybe y'all motherfuckers was here. Maybe y'all are the originals, the aboriginals and the natives of this land, this turtle island. You know what I mean? So from my little research, I'm like, hey. Now, mind you, I read the story or the book They Came Before Columbus. So it's not like I did not know that there were black people in the United States before colonizers, the Europeans, arrived. But I don't know. What actually sparked me looking into this was because something that they said had a little bit of like, it made a little bit of sense. So they're like, not the people who are like, where are the ships? That I'm not going to entertain. But the people who are like, the problem with their claim is that they claim the slave trade never happened. Yeah, see, we are literally on the same page timing wise. That's crazy that you said that right as I said that. But I think that there's like, they're not a monolith. There's some who can acknowledge that there are black people who came from Africa. There's some who are like, no, we're the ships, we're the slaves, we're the ships. That never happened. I'm just like, I don't put anything past Europeans at all. But like, you think they concocted it in the entire world is going along with this? And it's not just the United States. Like, people in America are so like myopic and think that the whole world is them and slavery only happened here. So you think that the Brazilians, the Colombians, everybody conspired to be like, oh yeah, let's corroborate the story if it did not truly happen. So then there are some FBAs who, like I said, some of them can acknowledge like, okay, there are black people who came from Africa, but then there's some who like 98% of the black people in America are indigenous. And then it's just like, yeah, I mean, baby, a lot of children were left behind. The American schooling system is to blame, for sure. It is a mess. It's a joke. Yeah, these are what are these? 10 inches? I mean, not inches, 10 millimeters. I actually don't trust this at all because the 14s look like 16s, the 16s look like 18s. So I don't know. Anyway, I said that because it's like, dang, I just put it on. It's like, these the length of my actual lashes. It's just going to make them more full, I suppose. Yeah, these are the literal length of my actual lashes. Pero, we ball. So I just did these 3 10. I think I'm going to do the rest longer. But, yeah, so anyways, looking up that whole history, I didn't go too far, but there were some families who were suing the Muskogee Creek Nation natives. Oh, that's another thing too, because I was just like, dang, these people really don't want to be considered African. Like I said, you would have thought, I don't know what you would have thought it meant to be African godly, but so somebody put it in perspective. It's like, okay, at least in the United States, where natives have reservations and they have their own sovereign nations and benefits and scholarships and grants and whatever else. So it's like, knowing that, it's like, okay, I can see why Black people would want to claim Native for those reparations because the rest of us Negroes ain't getting shit. So definitely not getting the reparations. I just can't fathom why people think that the transatlantic slave trade is made up. I don't know, friend. I don't know, friend. As somebody who never really cared to learn history or study history or read about history, it was my least favorite subject in school. Now, as an adult thirsting for a lot more knowledge, I am still, y'all know I'm skeptical. Like, I am still like, how do you know what to trust? Honestly, of course, there's primary sources and these, all that. But it's like, damn, if these people feel like the transatlantic slave trade was made up, all these primary sources, all these diaries and journals, all these purchase and sell agreements, y'all think that all of that was made up? But it's like, I don't know what to trust. Like, I read this book last year, When God Was a Woman, and that really like changed a lot for me. And then come to find out, people like, oh, that's made up. Like, her studies were false, or like the archaeological findings were false. Blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, the most I say the most, but what I do when I do read books about history is like 9 times out of 10, these authors cite their sources. So I'll go look at the sources and stuff like that. But again, if it's not to be trusted, I don't know. It's a lot. So I got to the point where I was like, well, fuck it. I don't need to learn history. I don't need to read up anything. I got trust issues. Clearly, can't trust none of this. So I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so I say all that to say, as I was looking up um, the trials and congressional legislation and stuff like that, I came up upon the case that I mentioned about the African American family who was suing the Creek Nation, and Congress actually, I think this was I think 2021 or 22, and in 2025, I believe Congress granted them whatever it is they were wanting to get, because one of the women was like, well, Cal Tom, he's a name that came up in my studies. He was he was an African American. He was a Black Creek. He was a Black Creek, like a very prominent one. So she was like, that's my great, 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 whatever. And so she was like, growing up, she was receiving the checks from the from the Creek Nation. And then they just stopped all of a sudden. So, because they were asking her to prove her native heritage and all this kind of stuff. But I don't know. I'm at the point where I'm like, I'll give it to them. You know what I'm saying? I'll give it to them. What do I have to gain or lose? If they want to, if they the original motherfucking Americans, then let them be. I should put my phone on do not disturb. They want to be the original Americans. Let them be. then somebody brought up like $5 Indians. I didn't look into that, but where like people were, the United States government was paying people $5 to pose, literally like in photos, to pose as Native Americans, as well as to pose, pretend, call themselves, claim to be Native American. And these people were what we think of when we hear Native American, like brown skin, long dark straight hair, braids, he who walks with wolves and shit like that. But yeah. So then I'm just like, okay, we all know that history is written by the victor. So I'm just like, how? Okay. So history is written by the victor. So it's like, so now all of a sudden y'all want to trust Congress and their legislation from 1866, and it's either that, like, trust it, or like be extremely skeptical and give them, I think, way too much credit, because you think in 1866 they was thinking. That's how I feel about the people who wrote the Bible. Like, them people was not that fucking clever and manipulative. Like, they I don't think they ever would have thought. I don't think they ever would have thought that them writing on them fucking scrolls about hallucinations would have turned into what it is. I don't think that I don't know, man. But anyway, so I say that to say I'm not giving these people that much credit. I don't put nothing past people, especially when they're white and European. They are Native American, African Americans, but they just have to not lying about their original claims. But how do you know that? How do you know that they're lying and deceptive? That's what I'm saying. At this point, I'm like, why fight them? Them people think they are from here. Them people think that they are the originals. I'm gonna just give it to them. Like, at this point, I don't know. But yes, they're then Native Americans own slaves too. And so my thing is like, okay, if Native Americans or Black people are the original Native Americans, then if Black people are original Native Americans, and what I was reading about specifically yesterday was about the Creek Nation only. I didn't read about the Choctaw and the Chickasaw and the Cherokee and the Seminoles yesterday. So the Creeks specifically own slaves, African Black slaves, right? So I'm just like, if Creeks were Black and Africans were Black, and we know the Europeans invented race, and they pushed so hard to form and prove whiteness and white superiority, then how would a Black Creek, like, if Creeks were Black, how did a Creek own, how did a Black own a Black, basically is what I'm trying to say. How did a Black Creek own a Black African? And that shit was sweet. Like, I don't know. Then when you say stuff like that, people are like, well, were you there? I'm like, none of us was fucking there. So you got to choose what you want to believe at the end of the day. Like, you got to choose what you think resonates or what you find to be factual. Because some of us mixed with them mainly because the Mongoloids, aka Indians, also enslaved us too. So now we want to assume their identity. Like, child, I was like, damn. And the reason I did the deep dive into the FBA, so I'm like, Black people really don't fucking, when I say they hate Africa, shh, they got it out for Africa. So some people who like, okay, if you don't think that the transatlantic slave trade happened, then how the fuck are you mad at Africans for selling you if it didn't happen, right? So then I just had all these types of different questions. So it's going to sound like I'm all over the place, but that's literally how I feel, because that's on the one hand, like, if the transatlantic slave trade never happened, then what's this diaspora war and this beef that you have with Africans? Hey, double zero or O. So what's the beef that you have with Africans that they sold your people or whatever into slavery? One. Two, people are just like, there's the people who say we're the ships, but then there's just like, well, why would the Europeans sail across the ocean to a foreign land, encounter people who are already on that land, and be like, nah, people who are already on the land, who know the lay of the land, they know the crops, they know the seasons and all this kind of stuff. Exactly, Larry. But yeah, so the people who are already there, who know the land and da 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 da, why would you say, oh, no, I don't want to enslave them. Let's go get the people from across the continent, from across the ocean, in a different continent, different language, who don't know the lay of the land. let's go bring them, right? So it's like, well, one, you don't understand how much fucking genocide happened to the people who they encountered when they got here, got to the United States, Turtle Island, whatever, as opposed to the Africans whom they were already in contact with due to trade and stuff like that. But as when I first heard somebody bring up that argument, like, why would the Europeans come to a new land, find people here, and then all of a sudden, hey, gamer, and all of a sudden decide that they weren't fit to be enslaved, that instead they should go and find Africans. And so I was like, dang, they got a good point. But then also, again, the more you read, like, knowledge is really the antidote to any type of, obviously, ignorance, but also like, reading is the antidote to any type of, skepticism in a way, but from reading, I become more skeptical, obviously, right? So there's that can happen. But yeah, like there's room for one more, but I don't know. I think I'm done over here. I might stack it up. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh, so then I also read last year this book called Black AF History. Hey Akande, Black AF History, where they mentioned like the natives didn't take too kindly to the Europeans who arrived, so everybody was killing everybody, or at least like trying, like obviously the whole story about Thanksgiving and the Pilgrims coming with fucking white flags and cornucopias and fucking turkeys. We know. Again, history is written by the victor. I don't know. It's just a lot, and I just feel like I took a decent step away from social media and stuff like that. On top of just getting my life together and relocating and stuff, but it's because it gets exhausting. Like the more you know, the less you want to know, or at least for me. The more I know, the more I wish I didn't. The more I wish I didn't know. Ew. 100% Larry Wilson. Hold on. Alexander is dying to know, what is the purpose of normalizing atheism for blacks? Well, one, black people are not a monolith. And no, contrary to whatever weird stereotypes people like to push, black people and Africans are not inherently spiritual and religious. There are many of us who are not, have not, and will not be. Larry, me and you is like this is crazy. EAE, can anyone else see my comments? I see it. No, that's crazy. Larry, whenever I say something, you type it, and it's like this, the same thought. It's crazy. Anyways, so yeah, normalizing atheism, especially for black people, we need to normalize it in general because it's like I gave a little small story about how I went around the Bible Belt asking people or just letting people know, hey, I'm an atheist, and they was all like, okay, but okay, great, cool. So it's normal to you. I love that. But it's like in the black community, especially, is very weird and taboo and ostracized and demonized. Like, these people love their Jesus. They love their white Jesus. So if you don't love white Jesus with them, then you're a demon or you're something out of this world. Atheist wasn't ignoring you. What? Atheist was ignoring you? I think it's a sign of self-hate. A lot of our people were programmed to hate themselves, the African part, especially the people in the South. So they love the original American story. See, and then who? Chris? Yeah, yeah. Oh, like I said, my thoughts were all over the place. So like, I was like chuckling to myself because I'm like, damn, this FBA thing to me is relatively new. All of it's new because I was in a bubble for growing up. But like, black people want to be the Israelites. Black people think they're the original fucking Israelites. Then there's another cohort of black people that think they the fucking original Americans. Nobody wants to be African. What the fuck? And I'm like, hey, shit. I'm surprised y'all ain't saying y'all motherfucking Japanese too. Like, so anyways, I'm just like, can we trace? Because I think there's a common thread too. Like, and with all these non-African claiming blacks, the thing that they have in common is that fucking Bible. I kid you not. They all have that. And I think that's the strangest part to me. Because they're like, oh, okay, because there's some, who is it, the Israelites, the black Hebrew Israelites, they think they're the Deuteronomy 28 Hamite type shits. Then the FBAs, they think that they're on the promised land. They think that America is in the Bible. That 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 is like, I'll have what you're having, honey. Pass it over here and double it, because what? Can you clarify what you mean? Are you what are you guys talking about? I didn't know that so many black younger people in the South were so intolerant with their Christianity until seeing them on TikTok. We don't do that kind of Christianity in New York. They are sad. Child, that's why there's 45,000 different denominations, honey. So that's, yeah. Everybody got their own version of, their own flavor of Christianity. There's nothing new here. Nothing to see here. Everybody got their own flavor of Christianity. So if they're intolerant, it's because they good book said so. If you are tolerant, maybe you got a different interpretation. That's all I can say. Everybody interprets it different, which is why y'all behave differently than the next group or cohort. But yeah. If I'm missing comments or not reading, it's because obviously I'm occupied with these lashes. The gods of various religions, such as what the Bible and Quran say, are totally different. Yeah. I don't like that. This glue is not good. You guys, cash at me like, if everyone on here, oh my goodness, it's 27 of y'all. If everybody cash at me just $1, just one, that's all I'm asking. I can get some new lash glue. Matter of fact, they have lashes that are like self-adhesive, so I don't have to mess around with the glue. Skeptical, look up Icapod, black atheist and former Christian rapper. He's live right now. Icapod, Isapod. I will, but I'm live right now, so I'll look him up later. Besides, most religious people do not believe in the gods of their religious texts anyway, but something different. Wally Wonka, that's a funny name. That's a cool name. Wally Wonka, oh, you're new here. Have I checked Bradley? Nope. I don't know who Bradley is. Atheist Community, Deconstruction Junction, content creators like Thinker Volsi, Javon Bradley, they are black creators. Yes. I know all except for Bradley. But yeah, so anyways, back to the mata. Back to the topic. Let's normalize atheism. And here's why I say that too, because I think it's way more common than we know or think. No matter what the polls say, the statistics say, whatever. Mind you, I've never been asked about my fucking religious affiliation, so you'll never know that I'm one of those black atheists, right? Or atheists in general. So that's why I believe that whatever stats those are skewed and inaccurate. But yeah, so I think that there's way more of us than we know. Shout out to those of us who speak out about it online and in person. There's a few of us, I'm sure, that, go to conferences and are involved in politics and stuff. Oh my God, speaking of politics, why don't we have any atheist representation anywhere in politics? Bro. The problem is that we need to separate that religions have philosophy and psychology in them, but when you examine the core religious claims, they are superstitious. It's so weird. However, they don't know. However, they don't want us to know about the Atlantic voyage of the predecessor of Mansa Musa. I do believe Africans were totally capable of making it to the Americas before Columbus. Absolutely. I'm furthest from a Christian and religious altogether. However, most New Yorkers, African, Europeans, etc., don't behave like these intolerant people in the South. Yeah. And the crazy part is, like, all these people supposedly have Christ or the Holy Spirit in them. It's like, y'all so damn ugly. Y'all act so ugly. And I don't want to act like you act, if that's what it means to have a Christ in me. No, thank you. Oh man, this is no bueno. What did I miss? What other messages did I miss? Karma is a part of Buddhist mythology which reinforces the caste system. So we don't have any verifiable evidence to justify that claim. What did Chris say? What are you responding to? Oh, okay. The verifiable evidence about Africans coming to the coming to the Americas. Well, like I said, there was a book called "They Came Before Columbus," and then even allegedly, I guess at this point everything fucking alleged, but even Columbus's writings or whatever show that there were black people on the voyage to the Americas or to India or wherever he thought he was going with him. Although that technically isn't before him, but it's like, how would they know how to navigate if they hadn't been here before? I don't know. What if I just want to say it was all hogwash? All of it. All of it. I don't know. And that's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking by it. Because the last thing I'm going to do is try to go toe to toe and argue somebody down when none of us was there. One, two. Yeah, I mean, bring your facts, I bring mine. But it's like, who's ever going to trust? Right? I think any argument you have, you can find support for it. You get me? You feel me? But yeah. No. Did everyone cash at me $1? You see me struggling. If everyone would be so kind. $1. At $skepticism. I don't think it's gonna stay. For sure not. Yeah. When I read it, you know how they say, like, what is it saying? Like the teacher will appear when the student is ready. Something along those lines. I feel like I read that book way before I was ready. I would have $22. You're right. I sure would. And I think that's plenty to get me some glue. Some lash glue. But yeah, so I read that book I think way before I was ready or like could um digest that information. And it's a thickie. That's a thick book. She thick. And I did not finish it, admittedly. I've yet to decide whether I want to revisit it. I probably will. But again, remember what I just said. I wish I didn't know all that I do know. And I don't know. I don't even know anything. I don't know much, y'all. I do not know much. Part of me likes to keep it that way. And then the little that I do know, I'm like, I kind of wish I didn't know that. I wish I didn't know that. Thank you. I do not know how to say your name. Emification. Thank you. And I wish I never fell so deep in love with you. Now it ain't no way we can be friends. You know what, guys? I did say cash out me $1, but you could do me one better and purchase some I mean, $1 is easier for y'all, but you could also purchase some atheist merch. I'm currently wearing, if you can see that, this atheist name bar, 18 karat gold. We've got stainless steel, rose gold, and rainbow. I love it. I wear it everywhere. I wear it all the time. I wear it when I sweat in the gym. Yeah. But I wanted to go live on YouTube for because in the midst of me relocating and trying to get my life together, I was not able to post a video last week. And today's Monday. This is a whole new week. So that's 2 weeks behind. I'm going to shoot one probably today. That'll drop this week because I was on a weekly schedule of videos. Did y'all even notice? It was every Monday or Tuesday. Monday was the aim. But if editing took too long or whatever, or uploading took too long, it would post on Tuesday. But that was my little weekly schedule, and then I kind of fell off just because of life. And I'll probably, like I said, shoot one. What time is it today? So that's, I can have that for you this week. But that's why I went live. I went live, so I'm like, okay, let me just still try to stay relevant, y'all. Let me stay in y'all's good graces. And don't forget about me. Don't forget about late nights. Playing in the dark. Do you want to see what I'm doing? Or not? Or no? And I've had this little palette for a while. It's going to last a very long time because I was only using, they're going to fall out. I was only using the 12s and a little bit of 14s. But like I said, I don't think these are accurate to size for real because you can't see it. But these are 16s, these are 18s, these are 10s. As you can see, I've never used the 16s or 18s. But yeah. Hey, glad to see you still broadcasting. Yeah, Johnny, see? That's what I'm saying. I want to stay on y'all's radar. Stay a little relevant or whatever. Because I had to back away from TikTok. Yeah. But, all right. So if you're here watching this live, let me know in the chat if you're an atheist. Let me know in the chat if you are a black atheist. Let me know. Let me know what else I want to know. Well, yeah, those two things because I want to know like how do I need to start on this plan of making atheism normal. Oh, y'all, I'm telling you, I'll be all over the place. So what I wanted to say, and I can't remember how or why I got sidetracked. Oh, somebody had asked me like, why do you want to normalize black atheism, or what's the benefit, or something like that. And what I was saying is that like this isn't new. I'm not the first, so I won't be the last. I say that with everything, like everything that I do in life, everything that I do, have done, will do. I always say I'm not the first, and I'm not going to be the last. Like us guys know what you're talking about with those lashes. I'm trying to educate you. I'm trying to fill you in. But yes, so we're not new. Black atheism is not new. And I know that because one, my dad, he's not an atheist, but he's a Nigerian skeptic for sure. He's a non-believer. So even before him, there were people in the 1800s, like the 19th century, and the 19th century and the period of slavery that were non-believers, that were skeptics, some even atheists. How do I know? Well, reading primary sources, of course, unless now all of a sudden primary sources aren't reliable sources, but like slave diaries and things like that. And so I'm currently reading a book called Black Freethinkers, The History of African American Secularism in America. And that also corroborates what I'm saying about this not being new. So because it's not new, like, let's normalize it instead of making it still as crazy and taboo. Period, Jay, Black atheist. As taboo as it is, especially in the Black community. Oh my goodness. So this is anyways, I went on somebody's live on TikTok, and he was a Christian. No, yes, he was a Christian, but that wasn't even the topic. He was a Black man whose topic was about dismantling the patriarchy and basically, like, standing up for women or whatever. And so it was my first time. It was my first time coming across his content. So I decided, after I sat in the audience, and I'm like showing love, blah blah. And I sat in the audience, and then somebody came up. A guest came up, and at the time that I was watching, all the guests were women, and all the guests were in agreement. But he was looking for opposition. He was looking for men, basically. But anyways, so all the women were in agreement. One guest comes up, and she brings up Christianity. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm a Christian. And they both talk about being Christian and fuck the patriarchy, but I'm Christian. So I said, request. I said, hi. I was in the audience this whole time, but now I got to come on stage. So I went up on, and he was just doing one-on-one. So I went up there, and I told him, I was like, yeah, like, shout out to you doing what you're doing, like, speaking out against patriarchy and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I was with you. I was in support until you said that you was Christian. And did I mention he was a Black man? Okay, if I didn't, he's a Black man. So anyways, and I was like, I was with you till you said you was a Christian, because that right there is the epitome of patriarchy. That religion, all the Abrahamic religions are what's upholding the patriarchy. If not, they cousins, brothers, damn near twins. And so, it was him. It was his life. But apparently in the background, his wife was there too. None of them like that. But you could see them getting, I didn't see the wife. He was on camera, the man. So you could see him getting frazzled. And like, I just find it interesting because it's like, here you are. You understand, that's the cognitive dissonance, and that's where people don't understand intersectionality. Black men who want to fight the patriarchy, it's either one or the other. If it's a Black man who deconstructed the religion, he may not have deconstructed the patriarchy. And in this case, it was the other way around. It's a Black man who deconstructed, or he's trying to dismantle the patriarchy, but doesn't realize how his religion is upholding it, and he's benefiting from that, right? And so, same with women. There's women who are like, no, I'm feminist. They same thing, women who want to dismantle patriarchy, but y'all hold on to King Father Jesus. And I was trying to explain all this to him. Obviously, like, your God is a male. There are no female women in high places, or unless you're a Catholic, you're not worshiping anybody but, what's her name, Mary, Queen, whatever. I don't know what Catholics worship. But so I was saying all these things like, your God is male, the Bible is patriarchal, women ain't shit, women are second class, women are afterthoughts. And so he was just like, oh my gosh, basically he said, F the Bible. I'm a follower of Christ. He said, I just try to live Christ-like, and however Christ lived his life. I was like, okay. Turns to the page where Christ called a woman a dog after ignoring her, and all she wanted was help with her demon-possessed child. And of course he didn't know that was in the Bible. Of course. But the cognitive dissonance didn't allow him to even hear any of that. So he ended up like kicking me. His wife was in the background like feral, like foaming at the mouth, because she was like, oh, he way more patient than I was because I was trying to jump through the phone. I was gonna beat your ass through the phone. I said, were you? I said, is this what it looks like to have the Holy Spirit? You was ready to beat my ass and jump through the phone because I said that Christianity is upholding the patriarchy, and neither of y'all can see that because your ears are blocked. I said, that is so cute, honey. I would love to see you try. And I was like, we don't behave like that. Atheists don't have no demon spirits in us that make us want to fight people because we disagree on stuff. I can't relate, babe. I can't relate. I hope you repent or something. I hope you get on your knees to your father. Something, because I said, that is very ugly of you to act like that. So I said that too. And he was like, so then he was like, he got emotional and was like, I try to stick up for women. So for her to assert that, I'm upholding the patriarchy and I'm not even that religious. I'm just a follower of Christ. I said, so why did you call yourself a Christian? We was going back and forth. We really were. I wish I could have that recording. But yeah, that's part of why. Okay, that's not the whole point. The point that there was a reason I brought this up. The point that I'm trying to make. So everybody was extremely bothered by me bringing that up, and so his wife went to go look at what does the scripture say about what women ain't shit. That's what the scripture said. It was a slur of the time. Dogs was a slur of the time. Anyways, so he also ignored her, and before he called her a dog, he couldn't be bothered. He also let her know that he didn't come for her ass. He came for the lost sheep of Israel. Anyway, so his wife saw my page and was like, "Oh, she's an atheist. She's an atheist." So then he was like, "Oh, now I can get disrespectful because how you don't believe in nothing? How you don't believe in nothing, right?" Mind you, and I have to reiterate that these are black people. So, ergo, we are trying to normalize atheism, especially for white people, because people can't just fathom how I don't have a sky daddy. I said, "Bitch," and I kept telling him, I said, "I would never worship a male, nothing, bitch. If you're gonna worship something, at least let it be a woman." Then I just saw a video today about how how men invented baptism of children or whatever because they didn't feel like the womb, the water in which, or the fluids in which a baby is, goodness, is kept inside your womb is good enough. Anything that a woman does, so that's also why like men made their creator god because women create life, but they had to find a way to flip it for a man to be the creator of life, right? Right. When a woman sheds blood every single month, it's unclean. But when they slurp on Jesus' blood the first Sunday of every month, when he shed his blood, it's the best thing. It's the greatest show of love. Right? Right. Okay. So, what are y'all saying? What does he do for the woman in question? So he ignored her. He couldn't be bothered. He called her a slur. After she agreed to that slur, he helped her. So if you want to take scraps like that, that's on you. If you find that to be holy and just and amazing and beautiful for him to have helped her after all that charades of shit, hey, that's on you. Para mí, para mí, no. I could equate it to something present day, but I don't feel like it. I don't feel like making an analogy. But you can get my drift, I'm sure. You can pick up what I'm putting down, I'm sure. What's tomorrow to say? I got things to do. It's not. I have not even been on for an hour. I'm ready to get off. I just want to, like I said, show face, stay a little relevant in the algorithm and in you guys' minds. Excuse me. I got shit to do, and I can't hustle if I'm always laying under you. All right. Ain't shit sweet. I'm about to eat. I'm trying to get my money up. Nora says, I just don't understand. Some people need to get disrespectful about it. That is not how I was taught to be a Christian. 45,000 different denominations. I don't really know how many times I gotta say that. There are Christians of every flavor. There are Christians of every flavor. Most of them are bigoted. Most of them are judgmental. Most of them are nasty. So if you weren't taught that way, hey, shout out to whoever taught you, I guess. Any recommendations to better one's mental health? I've been depressed lately. Let's see if I know anything free. Free, yeah. Meditation, somatic therapy. You could find that on YouTube for free. Actual therapy, like psychotherapy, and or traveling to a beach, or not even to a beach. I like the beach. Maybe you don't like the beach, but like nature, going out to whatever the closest, whatever you have near you. I have waterfalls and beaches and parks and greenery and trails near me, lakes, rivers, whatever it is, mountains. Get uh, into nature. Journal. Write out your thoughts. Write out what it is that is causing you to feel depressed. Look up the feelings wheel so that you can identify feelings with more than just happy, sad, happy, proud, mad, depressed, whatever. There's a whole spectrum of feelings. Um, yeah. um, I'm not laughing at the fact that somebody asked about advice for their depression. I'm laughing at the fact that a Christian recommended a Bible book. Woo! Hey, I have no comment. Christian said the Book of Lamentations. Good luck with that one. Niggas gonna be further depressed. The fuck? Put the Bible down. Don't go into the Bible for help, honey. And that's so like what? That's so tone deaf. Motherfuckers who are not part of your religion don't want to read your raggedy ass book to feel better. Figure something out. Other people read other books. Like you, I think Christians. First of all, Christians don't even read the full Bible, and that's the only book that I guess that they're allowed to read. Bitches don't believe in planets because it's not in the Bible. But we'll be on their phone. We'll be on social media. That's not in the Bible either. I don't understand. Please just recommend. Like if you don't have no other recommendation besides prayer and the Bible, yeah, you heard all that I just said. Everything I just said, and you gonna talk about the book of goddamn Lamentations. I am familiar with Arch Thinker. And you said, what led me to atheism? She did. She didn't lead me to atheism. I was already skeptical, but she was probably the first person on TikTok who I saw going in, like going in depth about like the errors of the Bible and really just knowing her stuff when it comes to the Bible and just being extremely confident and not what's the word? Being confident and sure of her stance of not believing. I'm looking at this cat. What you doing? Yeah, so funny you say that because I do know her. And we've met in person. They were wild but polite in person. I'm polite in public. Going for walks help with your depression. I love that. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I feel like there's so much. So many resources, free and otherwise. If you live in the United States, therapy ain't free, unfortunately, unless you have really good insurance or something. Or like a really good job that, supplies that. But talking to somebody, I think all these things help. or can help. But I'm sorry to hear that you feel that way, that you feel depressed lately. I think it's, I think also too, emotions are fleeting, right? So I say you're in a spirit of depression. Let me stop. There's nothing funny about this. It's a momentary time. I'm trying to see if I got these, if I got enough. What was your question? Existential depression is almost inescapable. Talk to a licensed professional, for sure. Is the depressed man a turnoff? Yes. I've never met a Christian who has read the whole Bible. Yeah, you won't. A Christian who's read the whole Bible is called an atheist. Nah, is a depressed man a turnoff? I don't know. I don't got space. So if you're asking para me, yeah. Um, you've been depressed your whole life. Have you sought guidance? Like, what have you done about that? I don't know, y'all. Okay, so obviously the light is down here, so this helps. But I feel like I'm gonna put one more. Where do I need it? Probably here. Where do I need it? Where do I need? I think here. What was said? You have read it all. I wrote an article on Archthinker. I think she has a very bad approach in that she doesn't study theology. She reads the Bible in a very prima facie manner. I don't know what that means. That's a big word for Emma. You wrote an article about her? Where can we see this article? Who paying you? It's on Substack. You can read it on Reddit. Oh, okay. Well, do you study theology? How many Christians do you know study theology? She was deep up in that faith, though. I do know that. Damn, she just a Reddit thread about her. Oh, y'all mean that shit. Y'all mean it. Y'all meant that. All right. So, anyways, remember how I asked for everybody to send me $1 so that I can get some new lash glue? It's gonna go through my lash glue fund. All right. This is why, you guys. Look at it. Look at it very carefully. This is not how. Well, I guess you wouldn't know, but this is not how glue is supposed to look or behave. Look at how difficult it is to come in and out. Like, it's no good. This is the glue. Look, that wasn't even sticky. That wasn't sticky. Bad brand. It ain't on here, but it's not a good brand. Look at that is not how it's supposed to be. Anyways, oh, I've been making do. Oh wait, I was supposed to pay somebody. Life is wondrous. Hey, I agree. I agree, and I love that for you. How about you not? Same, same. Life is amazing. It is what it should be. You know what though, friend? Thank you for asking. I do quite literally affirm that almost every day. And perhaps because I affirm that, it is so. I don't know which came first, an amazing life or an appreciative woman of that amazing life, or the gratitude. Like, what came first, the gratitude or the amazing life? Either way, it is what it is, and I'm appreciative of it all. All right, we're almost at the 1 hour mark. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank you for being here. To be honest, Abdul says, is it possible to simultaneously hold two diametric beliefs that God could possibly exist and possibly not exist and still have peace in one's soul? I don't know. I think that for me, the question of God's existence has no bearing over my life. Um, I'm not sure what weight it holds over my soul either. No one has shown me evidence of either a God or a soul. But yeah, so I don't know. People, I don't know. I think it would depend on the type of God that one believes exists. You guys with your fucking fire and brimstone God, yeah, I don't see how you can have peace in your life if you're questioning the existence of said God. That God is known to like off niggas. Just kidding. I don't. Yeah, that God is known to instill fear in those who do not believe in Him or question Him. So yeah, if that's the God you're referring to, yeah, according to this person, He's watching over me. Fucking creepy. No thanks. What did He see me do in the shower this morning? What's going on? Why is He watching me? Anyways, so yeah, it depends. So my answer is it depends on the type of God that you are believing in or not believing in. And then for me, if you're asking me specifically, the existence of a God or the non-existence of a God has zero bearing in my life. And, I would think that I have peace for sure. I feel like the moments where I do feel down or stressed, literally, and to whoever was in the chat saying that they're depressed, I don't know, just close your ears on this part because you said you've been depressed your whole life. But for me, it's like I told myself, I used to be in therapy, and it was just one day I was like, man, for what? Like, for what? Mind you, it's definitely needed for some. I feel like my life, anyways. So I'm like, what is this for? I was like, it's all in my head. Like, everything that I'm telling myself about feeling depressed or feeling blah, blah, blah. Again, close your ears to that person. This is just me, right? I just essentially talked myself out of it, if that makes sense. I changed my thinking, especially about myself. I changed my self talk. Um, yeah, and life is great. Like I said, I affirm that almost daily. And so the moments where I feel down or feel tired or exhausted, one, I'm a woman, so I was like, oh snap, girl, you're losing your face. Okay, life is not over, right? So if you're not a woman and you have emotional, hormonal changes, I don't know. Again, there's resources for y'all too, I guess. But for me, I had to give myself so much grace, and it's like because it is cyclical for me. Like, and it may depend on where you live. There's a such thing as seasonal depression. So that's why I said go out in nature, change your environment if you can. Y'all see the sun beaming on me. Like, I have to be around palm trees, fruit trees, like clean air, goddamn. Like, if you can change your environment. But yeah, so anyways, I kind of just changed my mindset, talked myself out of whatever crappy feelings. But what I keep trying to say, and I forget to say, when I do feel down, or I wouldn't even say depressed, sad, down is probably the best word I could think of. But one, I have to acknowledge whatever it is I think that is making me feel that way. I have to acknowledge the fact that am a hormonal being and it is cyclical. And then also, I do fully acknowledge that the things that stress me out, the things that I allow to stress me out, are what are called first world problems. And again, once I acknowledge that, I'm like, girl, girl. And a lot of the things that I allow to stress me out are usually out of my control. And I've learned for myself that when that is the case, I just let it go. If I can't control it, I gotta let it go. I cannot let it stress me. Gotta let it go. Because what's the point of stressing over something that you cannot control? And it's usually, yeah, caused by other people. And I'm like, I know for a fact I cannot control any other person. So the last thing I'm going to do is have other people cause me to feel stressed or down. So, yeah, therapy can be good for giving you the tools to self-talk out of, yes, out of it. Sometimes even when we're happy, we should still learn new coping tools. Yeah, for when those dark times may come. I agree. Um, what am I gonna say? Oh yeah. So again, I haven't been to therapy. I quit therapy years ago. But there's this one therapist who I was seeing, and she gave me a tool, to that person's point, that I use to this day. To this day. Now, I have been journaling for as long as I can remember. I have been journaling probably since definitely college. I don't think maybe high school, but definitely since college, which for me was over 10 years ago. And so journaling is amazing. But for whatever reason, I don't know if I got caught getting lazy or whatever. Hey, Kelendros, um, whatever you want to call it. I think that the art of writing is being lost, especially with things like cell phones being computers and actual laptops and computers and iPads. Like people aren't really writing. So for me, when it came to journaling, I stopped having a physical journal and I started doing what I call like a digital diary. So I would just type on my thoughts or whatever. And I'm like, I can get a lot more out this way because my hand won't cramp up, blah, blah. So, anyways, this therapist suggested that I do video diaries. And this was in I think like 2023. And I've been doing it ever since. And it's amazing. But again, the art of writing, I do feel like you journal, document your life, all the things. Just get it out of your head, essentially. If you don't have anybody who you can talk to, then get it out of your head by writing it down. Um, and a lot of the times, like I said, whatever issues that I feel like I'm facing, I consider them to be minuscule in the grand scheme of things and like first world problems. So like my go-to people who I will go to for whatever, I'm like, I don't want to keep bothering you with this tiny minor shit. So when I make these video diaries, I feel so much better and I do not feel the need to tell anybody else about what I was feeling because it's just at least off your mind, off your chest, whatever. So there's that. Do I ever get lonely? I do sometimes, but I love my own company. But yeah, as I see it, Christianity is just a public domain label for a vague theme or category defined in countless different ways. There's no the Christianity. It's all create your own adventure. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, okay, so I'm not familiar exactly with YouTube's rules when it comes to lives, but somebody's weird ass, I just have to put them in timeout. YouTube says put them in timeout. I don't know if that means that they can no longer watch me. If you can, if you cannot, sucks to suck. But I don't know if that's like timeout means you just can't comment, but you are forced to look at my beautiful face, or you are just not able to do any of the above. But anyway, somebody I just had to put the person on timeout because I don't respond to idiots or nonsense. So I don't give them my energy. I just here is putting on timeout. On TikTok is blocking. I would have blocked you had this been TikTok. But oh, I want some tea. A lot of intelligent people believe in things for bad reasons. Fear is usually that reason. Yeah, Trinlow, I agree. It says, I don't care what people believe. Just don't try imposing your garbage on me or deceive me with your scam. My point stand on thinker and criticism of your cult. I don't know what that last part meant. A lot of people have a lot of education that believe the world is flat. They can watch or something. Okay, okay. Thank you for that. Cool. Good to know. Sucks to suck, you know? Most reputable scholars have actually taken a deep dive and studied, researched, and gotten higher degrees of education, learned and spoken in the original languages, and then approach. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah. So something else that I realized in reading not only the book called Black Freethinkers, but I don't know. It, Christians are the most interesting bunch of human beings that could ever breathe because in one of my videos, which video was it? I think it was my deconstruction story video. I mentioned that when someone claims to be in the faith, Hindus are interesting too, but this is, I don't mean interesting in a good way, trust me. But anyways, when someone claims to be a Christian, Christians get off on that. They accept that. And A, do you? I don't care. I can't tell you what the fuck to do. I don't know what your religion tells you to do. But so that's one. If someone claims you're Christian, everybody's like, oh, okay, hey, brother, 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 sister, sister, brother, yeah, amen. But then if either that same person or someone else is like um, no longer a Christian, some Christians like, well, you were never a Christian. Well, why didn't you try to peep game when they claim to be in the fold? When they claimed to be Christian, you had no type of litmus test. You had no type of scrutiny or analysis. You just accepted it and was gleeful that you found another one of you. I don't know. It's like I said, it's weird. But so there's that. There's no scrutiny. There's no blah, blah, blah. So somebody was like, there is no the Christianity is choose your own adventure. And that is the case because I just feel like I'm about to be all over the place. Like I said, the dude who was on live talking about patriarchy, he literally was like, I'm a Christian, but fuck the Bible. Huh? He was like, I only care about what Jesus did. Do you know how minuscule out of the 66, 72, 3, or 80 something books? I don't know what's in the Ethiopian Bible. I don't know. Jesus is probably in there. I don't know. But out of all them books, Jesus is only in 4. Then if he allegedly died at 33, you only know about an iota, a fraction of this man's life. So, anyways, so it's like, okay, here's a Christian that's like, I'm a Christian, but fuck the Bible. What do the other Christians on earth think about when they hear that? Well, they can't say much because them motherfuckers don't read the Bible themselves anyway. So if at least he was honest and be like, look, I don't really care what it's saying in that book, but me and Jesus read letters, right? Weirdo. But I forget what I was trying to say. All I'm saying is like they're interesting because there's just no rhyme or reason to what's really going on in that religion. It's just what do you call that, whack. I think it was sparked by something somebody said in one of the chats. It's an identity more than a belief, and it's addicting. I can see that because yeah, if you talk about the religion and people think that you talk about them, they can't separate their religion from their identity. Then now all of a sudden they want to say it's not a religion, it's a relationship, whatever that means. Oh my goodness, I'm supposed to make some videos on that topic about it being a relationship, like some skits. I'll make sure I get those out. I'll shoot those this week. Christianity is more common in places with more stability and the ability to influence you. Get a lot of them trying to govern around the world. In general, a lot of the biggest scholars of the Bible and many religious texts and then believe in the religion as literally true or even the truth. Mm, mm, I'll say. Yeah, I did lose my train of thought as to why you was saying that they're interesting, but I didn't mean interesting in a good way. It's just that there's no, yeah, essentially, it's just that there's no path to follow. There's no, it's not coherent. Like, again, as an outsider, anyone from on the outside looking in can't come in to learn about Christianity from different individual Christians and come to the same conclusion. Because them motherfuckers don't have the same conclusion. It's incoherent, it's inconclusive. That's what I'm really trying to say, I guess. And I find that to be interesting. That's what I was gonna say. Okay, yes, black free thinkers, da da da. That's what I was gonna say. So people claim Christianity, especially when they're again, full circle moment, why it's important to normalize atheism, especially for black people, because that's what I was saying. This is where Christians are interesting because once you're in the fold, or you claim to be in the fold, they don't bat an eye. They don't question you, right? So that's why you see Christians today talking about, oh, Harriet Tubman was a Christian, Albert Einstein was a Christian, but they don't want to say that Hitler was. When that nigga came out his mouth and said it himself, they don't want to claim Hitler. So, anyways, so they're just so happy to hear somebody claim that they're a Christian. Even me, Batheist, the baddest atheist. Like, even me, if I was to go somewhere new where don't nobody know me, go to a church, not just a random, I'm talking about going to a church, and I tell them that I'm one of them, they're going to believe me. They're going to believe me. They have zero discernment. If I go into a church today, tomorrow, with a room full of Christians, and I say I'm just like you, brother, sister, they're going to believe me. So I say that's that. Ooh, that scared me. I thought it was a bug. I think my lashes fell out. It sure did. Anyways, that's that glue, y'all. I'm telling you, I need to start my fund. I need y'all to help me raise funds for some glue. I need some glue, y'all. Anyways, so yeah. So a lot of people claim Christianity to save face because, God forbid, you say that you're not and you get burned at the stake like a witch. So or God forbid you say that you're not and your publications don't get published or your grant isn't or your research isn't funded or whatever the case may be, like your doctor's license isn't upheld or whatever the case may be, whatever type of ostracization or um, consequences come from not for not being a part of the majority cult, the majority belief, the majority religion in a country that's allegedly supposed to have freedom of religion. Hey, what's up, Saran? Um, I don't know where that lash went. So I say that to say, let me try to make it coherent and tie it up with a bow. We have to normalize atheism, especially in the black community, because in the past it was not the case, and Christians like to have more soldiers in their army, despite. I mean, there's no real barrier of entry to become a Christian. All you gotta really do is just say you are. From the outside looking in, all you gotta do is say, um, hey, that's what's up. All you gotta do is just say you are, right? I do try to, get people's names right because it's important to me that you get mine right. So shout out to me and getting your name right, period. I like the name. So, anyways, normalize atheism because in the past people were not able to do so. You're ostracized, all these things. Like, even like the greats like Frederick Douglass. Let me know in the chat if it was just me. I did not know that Frederick Douglass was an atheist, or was he was a skeptic. I did not. All the stuff I knew about him. There's a high school, like my rival high school is Frederick Douglass High School. I did not know that he was an atheist. Why? Because that's the last thing that anybody wants to say about him when it comes to all the achievements and progress he's made, right? And I think that's wild. And he's just, to me, the most glaring example that I feel like bamboozled, because I'm like, that's one person, the American school system did teach me about him, but not that. A major fact. Um, So yeah, one, atheists are not really even accounted for because, like I said, I haven't taken any polls. Ain't nobody come and survey me. I'll let y'all know. I live right here. I put me in this group. Don't gerrymander my shit. And I'm an atheist. I'm an African American atheist. Yeah. I don't know, y'all. It just in the moment as this is live, it's probably not making any sense. It's probably not coherent because I just be off the dome. You feel me? But hopefully when I watch this back, I'm not too cringed out. Because the thing I actually have come to love about YouTube Live is that it lives on your page forever. And it can get more views than the few of you who are in here. Shout out to y'all for being here, by the way. I do appreciate that. And thank y'all for like hitting the thumbs up because it's more of that than it is people in here. So I love that. But yeah, what are you saying? What are you saying? Boil some water, then dip the base in the water for 5 or 10 minutes to soften it up in the meantime. What are you talking about? Explain to me how heaven is paradise. It sounds like another kind of hell. You might burn in hell, but at least God didn't threaten your whole life. Threaten you your whole life that you might burn if you don't follow him. No, Frederick Douglass was not a Christian. I mean, he was raised like everybody else. He was raised Christian, but he like actually okay. He was raised Christian, but at a very young age, he never believed. So again, you have to like assimilate and pretend. So if somebody was to say something, it's like, oh yeah, I'm Christian, but nobody ever really tests you. Nobody ever really knows. Nobody ever like. It's so weird. I think that's weird. Like here's the perfect example. Okay, this is what I liken it to. Um, I'm gonna only use what I know. I was gonna use the army or the military, but I don't know anything about that. But I do know in the military, like the different branches, they have their little sayings or whatever. Like you can know somebody by, you know. So I'm in a sorority, right? If you are in or you claim to be in the same sorority as me, there's ways that I can check you, and vice versa. If I tell you I'm in the sorority and you are actually in it too, you can check me. It's a sniff test. And if motherfuckers don't pass the sniff test, you're lying. You're false claiming. So with Christianity, it's like, I don't know, put a cross on and call it a day. I don't know. So I hope that my point is coming across. Like it takes literally nothing to be considered a Christian. And other Christians don't question it until it's too late or until like, I don't know. Until it's like once you're out of it, oh, you were never a Christian. How you know? How you know? Because when the people who's in it, you don't know if they are for real or not. Because like, okay, for Frederick Douglass, for example, and many other people like my mutuals, like grew up in a church or whatever. And so like if somebody was to ask him, is he a Christian? Let's say all up, I don't know exactly the age. Let's say he was there up until like 18, for example, hypothetically. And all from childhood to 18, he's like, yeah, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. But he started questioning when he was 12 or whatever, and he stopped believing when he was 12. All up to 18, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. Nobody would question it. I don't know what that means. Thoughts on DVD, D4D. Why do people think that you're a Christian? Hold on, let me get this little. Let me get the little. I'm trying to get these mosquitoes. You feel me? Like, anyways, Trend Love, you said that most people swear that I'm a religious. Hold on. Where'd it go? Anyways, it's very tropical here, so bugs are here. Mosquitoes. Most people swear that I'm religious and possible a Christian, but when I speak to them, I make it clear that I have no room for such in my life. Everyone knows know to never bring their God nonsense around me. What makes them think that you're a Christian or a religious person? Yeah, that's true. Okay. Even heaven and hell in the biblical text are a lot different than what Christians tell people because they don't know. You can't expect them to know. Yeah. 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 I'm just curious what makes people think that you're religious. Because I use the term blessings as my mantra, and I'm very respectful, involved in many community works with all kinds of people, religious and non-religious. I value people regardless of belief. Gotcha. 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 Yeah, and I think the other weird thing about like I'm gonna say Christians specifically, and people are like, why are you always talking about Christians? I could not. I literally in my life right now don't know a Muslim. I don't know a Muslim. I have a really good girlfriend. We grew up together, and her aunts and cousins, I believe, are Muslim, but I don't know them. So that's like what 1 degree of separation, 2 degrees, however you count it, of separation. But anyways, so yes, I don't know any Muslims in my life, so I don't know the first thing about what they got going on, nor do I really care. But um, so the interesting about Christians is like, even if you don't believe, for some, y'all gotta put that little caveat. For some of them, like Shorty had mentioned, are very intolerant. But then there's some who are like, you don't have to believe my God, but at least have a God belief. Which is back to what I was saying about the guy who was on live. He was like, "Oh, you an atheist? How you don't believe in nothing? You don't believe in nothing?" But if I would have been like, "Oh, I'm a Muslim or I'm spiritual or whatever the fuck," that like puts him a little bit more at ease. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. All of it is weird because like, why do you care what I believe? Somebody mentioned it earlier. I don't care what you believe. Just don't impose it on me. Why do you care what I believe? He's like, oh, how you don't believe in nothing? I know it's scary, big fella. I know it seems, out there, big fella. Seems a little foreign to you and your black ass. But there's some people who look like me and you who don't believe in things out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to believe in some kind of nonsense. How come you don't believe like I do? Huh? Child, talk about it. Larry said a lot of religious people, in many cases, try to convert you to ideas that are not even in their own religious text. That's what I'm saying. Like, what them black people be saying? God gives, what they be saying that's not nowhere in their book. God helps those who helps themselves, or God gives his toughest battles to. Show me the verse. Speaking in goofy tongues and languages is not even like the book of Acts was describing. Hello. And it's like, how are non-believers more knowledgeable about your book? Not even just, I'm talking about like the internal critiques. How are like non-believers more knowledgeable about what's in the book? Talk less of like how it was constructed, the etymology, like how it was altered, the external critique of it. Goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. So this person says, I'm going to be honest, I was converted from atheism by a high dose of psychedelics. That's what did it for me. I know somebody literally just like that. And I met him when I was traveling. And he told me that he found Jesus or God. He lives in a very Christian country, or Catholic, I think. But he found Jesus when he was on a trip. As in, I don't remember if his was like a psychedelic or marijuana. Pretty sure it was marijuana. And he was like, yeah, I got so high. I met Jesus. And I started laughing, but he was like dead serious. So I'm like, well, how do you know it was Jesus? How do you know? But I had so many questions, and I'm just like, at the end of the day, that's your belief. Like somebody said up here, like contrary to whatever you vehement, rude, disgusting, ugly Christians think, I don't give a fuck what you believe. There are some people, I'm not going to speak for every atheist, but a lot of us do not care what you believe. That's an anti-theist. And even, I don't even know if anti-theists care what you believe. They just don't give a fuck about religion, right? I don't care what you believe. Christians have a hard time grasping a lot of things, and that's one of those things. So that's why I'm like, I may question him or other people, like, okay, how do you know Jesus? Like, tell me more about how that interaction went. And he's bilingual, and his first language is Spanish. So I'm like, okay, so was your Jesus? What he say to you? What did he say first? Like, you know, what kind of how you and Jesus communicate in Spanish or English? Because he's like, when I say bilingual, like he's fluent in both. Like, I'm not even sure. He probably thinks more in English. You know, I don't know. Either way. So I'm just like, all these questions. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to reconvert you. I'm not trying to take you away from it or whatever. I'm just trying to see if you know some. I feel like questions should not be an issue. Like any other part of your identity or any other, I say organization or lifestyle that you choose, I don't think would have a hard time having that be scrutinized or questioned. Like, I would hope, I just don't think that you would get defensive if somebody's like, oh, you're a vegan? What made you become a vegan? Why do you want to not eat meat? What do you have against dairy? Like, or whatever, however they may ask it, whether it sounds like combative or whatever. Like, I just don't feel like, damn, I just don't feel like you would get defensive, right? If you, whatever, if you decide to join the military, whatever you choose to do as far as the lifestyle goes, as far as like, if you want to join a bodybuilding contest. Somebody's like, well, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do 75 hard? Why do you want to participate in high rocks? Damn, you gonna get mad? You gonna get offended or defensive? Got him. Y'all heard that? Ew, that one smelled. Oh, I smelled that one. It burned. Anyways, so all negative traits are inherent to Christians, or perhaps that's just the human condition and folks will be worse without Christ. Yeah. Hey, y'all got it. Everybody else responded to him or her or it or they or whatever. So shout out to y'all, chat. EAE, you are funny. You are funny. But what was I gonna say? Maybe one day I'll go live with this topic, but it's a little different on YouTube because I can't speak to people. You're just gonna be typing, and I'm just gonna go back and forth with you in the camera with the typing. But I'm gonna pose this question: like, why does my atheism, or why does anybody's non-belief bother you? Why does anybody's non-belief bother you? Did you hear what I just said? I said it multiple times, and somebody in the chat typed it that they do not care what you believe. I do not care what you believe. Just don't impose it on me, right? Even like Christian content creators, hey, go off. Like, I don't interact with them. Like, I don't, Satan loves you. I don't do anything, right? I'm not going where that's not a space for me. But Christians are, I say interesting because I'm trying to be nice. They will go in spaces that have nothing to do with them. Nothing. I make sure to have those spaces that have nothing to do with them. This video, the title of this video, every time I go live, it literally, it couldn't be bigger where it says atheists, right? And yet and still, I can, if I got paid for every time a fucking Christian came into my shit, unannounced, unsolicited, damn, I wouldn't have to ask y'all for $1. I wouldn't have to ask y'all for $1 for my lash glue. So it's just weird. Like, what are you doing? So no, I do not care what you believe, but I'm wondering why you care what I don't believe. Why do you care? Oh, I want to see you in heaven. Fuck you. No, you don't, because you don't fucking know me. What? You're not gonna know anybody or anything. I don't want to be there. You want to see me in heaven, but I don't want to be there. Like, hey, friend, I want you to come out to the club with me Friday. Okay, I don't want to go, but I want to see you there. I love you so much. I love you so much. I want to see you in the club. Okay, but I don't want to go to the club. The fuck? You ever thought about that? What if the club don't even exist, but you want me to come to the club with you on Friday and you can't show me where the club is at? Don't piss me off. No me jodas. It's a little Spanish for y'all. But yeah, that's exactly what that is. Hey, I want to see you in heaven. That's why I care that you don't believe in the one God that I believe in. Yeah, but you were born in the United States, honey. That's the only reason why you believe in that God. I'm not interested. And I say normalize atheism. I wish we could like denormalize religion. I wish we could denormalize Christianity, especially. Like, can we? When are they gonna be ostracized? When are they gonna be demonized and laughed at and denied jobs and stuff? When are they gonna be shunned by non Christian family members? Goodness gracious, it was great. What Usher say? Trade in places. If atheists never left the club and we're hitting in the parking lot, why does that bother you? Why do you want me to come to the club? Just let me hit in the fucking parking lot. Your turn. And meanwhile, while Christians are in the club, y'all looking outside the window wondering what we doing in the parking lot. Y'all looking outside the window wondering what the Muslim club next door is doing. Y'all need to be in your club and fucking have fun and worried about your fucking club. You worried about everything but what's in your club. That's the problem. I'm waiting to see. That's what I'm saying. I gotta wait for you to get your thumbs and shit ready to type back, as opposed to like if I was able to hear you and shit. So I cannot wait to see your response. It's a weird ass username. Anyways, thank y'all for being here. 22 of y'all in here, and I want to know because again, I say this probably every time. Like, I don't know how YouTube Live works. How did you find out about my live? Are you a subscriber and you got notified, or I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. If you're not a subscriber and you're a weird Christian who just happens to like being with atheists in the parking lot, you could say that too. I'm just curious how you found my live. I'm gonna stay. High fives, but if it's a lie, I can take it higher. Got nothing but that back. So now, don't nobody want to type nothing. Don't nobody know how to answer. Don't nobody know how to say nothing back now. Thank you, Abibi. Thank you for that. I watched a few of your videos in live content. EAEA, you see me? You see me? Don't let the sun hit my brown eyes. Don't let the ooh. Because young minds are in the balance. What the atheist doesn't understand, the world don't revolve around their feelings. Just because you can live in non-belief doesn't mean the sociopathic lions can. You're goofy as. Never mind. when you ask somebody a question and they talk about whatever the fuck is on their mind and not what you ask, then you just gotta leave it alone, y'all. Somebody talk about being depressed. The number one way to be depressed is talk to crazy people. Like, go back and forth with them. I don't. Remember how I said I'm at peace? Yeah. Cannot do that. Watch some of your videos before and the algorithm push a lot. Okay, period. Okay, on your okay. You're okay. So does that mean like you were scrolling on YouTube? I feel like that doesn't happen for me. Like, I don't just see people's lives unless I'm subscribed to them and they got the red dot. But then again, I'm not really like YouTube isn't a social media platform that I'm like chronically on. But even when I'm on it, not whether it's chronicle or not, chronically or not, I still don't have it happen to me. Hey, get them. My chat gonna get y'all right together. Gonna get y'all right together. You hear me? Save me some stress. Save me a little stress, and you could get them. You could talk to the crazies. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Silly of me to expect more from Christians. But specifically, let me be very specific. Silly of me to expect something intelligible from that person with a weird username who has said that atheists never left the club. We sitting in the parking lot, right? I love an analogy when it lands and when it hits. And when I did used to talk to Christians on live, I forbade them from making analogies because they have no clue, rhyme or reason how to make analogies that make sense. So that one, okay, let's run with that. The club, we talking about we not in the club. We didn't leave the club. We're sitting in the parking lot hating. Okay, you did not answer my very logical questions with that semi-decent analogy. You see, I didn't run from it. I didn't deflect. Like, no, we're not at the parking. We're not in the club. Okay, cool. You say we in the club parking lot. Cool. Why are you watching us? Why are you worried about what we're doing in the parking lot? Why are you looking out the window? You supposed to be on tables and shit, or I don't know, at the pews praying in the club. I don't know what y'all do in the club. You need only Christian music in the club, right? You're worried about us in the parking lot. You're worried about the Muslim club next door, the LGBT section, because they in the club with you. Hello, hello. The ones that are in the section in the club with you, or the ones who is out somewhere else because they said fuck your religion. You worry about everybody but the people who are amongst you in your club. Anyways, you guys, it's almost gonna be an hour and a half on live. I'm going to continue on with my lovely life. But I thank you guys for joining me as always. And like I said, I'm gonna get you a video this week for sure. I just wanted to make sure like I didn't go too long without showing face. Unfortunately, are you paying attention to the amount of religious fanatics in Africa, especially Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa? They are sometimes more intolerant than, yeah. It is sad. It is sad. It is sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. But there is like, in my mind, there's no saving them. Don't save her. She don't wanna be saved. Don't save her. She don't wanna be saved. Yeah. There's only very few of them with sense. And so shout out to the few of them who are skeptical and speaking out about it, non-believers and speaking out about it. But I fear that they are vastly outnumbered. And if you thought the United States was bad with mixing church and state, shit. Nigeria? But Africa? I don't know if I truly have a desire to visit Ethiopia, but there's some people who like the Ethiopian Christians are on one. Are on one. Hey, what's up? Okay. Evo atheist. Are you in Nigeria? That's the question. That's the question. Do you live in Nigeria? Um, oh my goodness, look at all the Nigerians here. Who knew? Hey, friend. Yeah, see. Hi, friends. Oh my goodness. No, Nigeria's worse. Like, y'all don't. There's no electricity, but there's a church every stone throw. Then y'all outside cooking in the heat for church service because you don't have what you call it, electricity. Then you make sure all your pastors are billionaires. Meanwhile, oof, don't get me started. Yeah, what does save me? What? I had this thought, you guys, because you know how I just said, like, yes, normalize atheism, but I wish that we could denormalize Christianity. You have to start treating them like. I think that most atheists are ex-religious, as opposed to just being atheists, like just being born without your parents introducing you to religion, right? There's that subset of atheists too, of course, sure, but I think that there's a small minority. But so for the atheists who are ex-religious, I think that we should all like come together and agree to not give in to, especially Christianity. What do I mean by that? Um, so many things. I remember, where was I at? Oh, I met somebody whose name was Gabriel. And when I met him, he told me his name. He was like, "Yeah, you'll never forget it." And I was like, "Why do you say that?" He said, "Because it's like the angel." And I think that was the moment I told myself, moving forward, don't play and say shit, always play dumb. Because had I played dumb and followed that rule, I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to remember your name because it's an angel. Like, what is an angel? Like, just don't give in because, like, there's other examples. But, like, the more we do internal critiques, mind you, it's always going to be a losing battle trying to talk about the Bible to a Bible believer who can twist and turn things as they please, who can move goalposts as they wish. It's always going to be a losing battle. So, why even play into that? So, what I'm saying is just like, let's make it like the weird, the odd thing to talk about, huh? Like, you have to take a day off from school because somebody died and came back to life in 3 days. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Just, I don't know, make it sound so ridiculous. Or not even just that, just don't play in like you know what they're talking about. Like, make them explain if they need to, or just like, especially that Gabriel shit, like, oh, you're gonna remember it because it's like the angel. What? I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna forget it. Matter of fact, I actually won't remember your name. Actually, um, I'm trying to think of some other examples where it's like people say things and they just assume. Maybe that's the word too. Like, they're assuming that you know what they're talking about, not even knowing whether you're religious or not, or part of their religion or not. What it be happening? I don't even know. Like, yeah, if somebody mentions like a Fat Tuesday or Good Friday or Fat Tuesday, I don't know what the holidays are, right? Again, behave that in that way. Sorry, I'm killing killing mosquitoes, but yeah, I smelled that. Yeah, you're picking up what I'm putting down. I have faith in you guys. You're smart. Just making it. Don't give them the benefit of knowing what it is that they're talking about. Right? We're here. That makes sense. Cool. She be talking about angel numbers. Oh, that's that ain't Christian. Even in Nigeria, that's getting harder and harder for the religious institutions to maintain supremacy because science and technology are progressing. I hope so. A lot of religious institutions talk about how Africa is a better place because a lot of the religious people take their religion with more serious. Oh my goodness, that's what I'm saying. So that's the whole thing about like Africans and Black people are inherently spiritual, inherent, just naturally religious. That's because them motherfuckers don't got fucking hope. Let's be honest. They don't have hope. They don't know what the hell to turn to. They are so down bad and so I don't know. The certain line of the races here, they somewhere else, miles and miles and miles. Ouch, my piercing. Aww, that hurt. It is 100%, as you said, because like somebody said it in here earlier. I think, I don't know, but that's not even just an opinion. It's statistically, the more religious you are, or the more impoverished you are, the more religious you are likely going to be. Right? They don't got nothing else. They don't got nothing else. Yeah, I encourage you all to read more about. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir because most of y'all in here are, on the same page and you get it. But anyways, it doesn't hurt for you to read it too, like slave narratives and slave diaries, specifically the African Americans in the United States. I did think I want to learn more about like the slave experience in South America, the Caribbean, and even Latin America, because again, so ethnocentric and myopic of me to only think about the plight of the Africans in the United States, whereas like look at Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, Haiti, goodness gracious, Cuba, Jamaica, um, right? And how all of the stories are parallel, it's just that we just don't know them unless you decide to go and research them. And so I want to learn more about that. Africans all over, like across the Americas in the diaspora, and how, you know, slavery had impacted them. And that's why I think it's so wild for like FBAs to claim that that it didn't happen. I don't know. Just take a nap, you guys. Just come back. Come back. I don't know. Come back when you had a couple of books you've read. I don't know what to say. I really don't. But I think that's very, very wild to dismiss or deny slavery. I'm very poor. It's lucky that I'm an atheist. Hey, a win is a win. A win is a win, because really, I also have this thought like, what is money? It's all fake, anyways. And I know that's me speaking from a point of privilege, but it's like, no, because if we really just all stood up, if we all got together and stood up for some shit, we could have been dismantled this raggedy ass capitalistic society. If I say I can't do too much, I can't say we can dismantle religion and patriarchy and all that, but at least cap something. Pick one. Capitalism, at least. Like we have way more power than we think. Racism, okay. Patriarchy, all right, all right, all right. Capitalism, yeah, we could have done our big one a long time ago. I think the internet in multiple ways. Without it, I'd probably just be listening to crappy country music even now instead of finding other genres. Hey, I agree. Shout out to the internet for a lot of things, for educating me and raising me into the woman I am. I need some advice. I have totally deconstructed. Like, I'm out of the code, but I had 3 grown daughters who grew up Christian, and I'm a big part of that. Should I even try? Yes. Yes, you should. Hi, Rio. You should. I'm not a parent. I'm far from it. But hmm, I think what you should do, I don't even know. There's a lot of people in your position, though, I will say. There's a lot of my mutuals who are in your position that I think are far better equipped to handle this than I am, or to answer this. But especially their daughters. That's why I say yes for sure. But I would just say, like, you have to understand something. You have to tailor your approach, because some people don't do well with the truth and being cussed out or yelled at or condescended, whatever the word is, right? Some people, you just have to probe little by little, like ask questions, get them thinking. Um, or if you want to like go the rip the band-aid off route, and they saw that, hey, I think it was dad, right? Raised me this way, and he's no longer devout or in the religion. I don't know, friend. It's slippery. But I think, yes, very much the answer to the question that you should try is yes. How you go about it, I don't know. I really don't. But I think yes, for sure. Now, question, they're grown daughters. I'm assuming that means that they do not live with you. So maybe, I don't know, maybe not. If they, still live with you or value what you say, respect your opinion, then yeah, for sure, go for it. Save them. That's how you gotta look at it. Save them. Yeah, Larry, I agree. I don't have a Discord. Somebody said asking an atheist to defend his beliefs is like throwing salt on a snail. They immediately shrivel up, melt down, really try to slither away. That was so cute. And I know that's a Christian. I have no response but a smile. Hey, Sakbase, Nabule, do you think atheism would positively change Africa because we would no longer look up or down? Absolutely. 100%. I sure do. I sure do. Will it ever happen? It could go either way. It could go either way. Oh no. Even in some of the poorest areas in the United States, there's a rapid increase of religiosity, and people tend to support authoritarian aspects of yeah. At your party, listen. Some people we just don't respond to, right? That's why I said I laugh and smile. That's really all you can get a God out of me with that stupid ass response or question or statement. Just laugh and smile. Maybe throwing a wink if you're feeling a little froggy. Throwing a wink. But laughing, that'll do it every time. Atheism by itself might help the continent of Africa, but until the country start to develop themselves better and be more self-sufficient, it's not going to matter much in many ways. I know I kind of question whether, like, on the spectrum of things, like the list of priorities, where does religion fall? Like, right? Is it getting the corrupt, greedy politicians out of office and getting them out of bed with the Europeans that they still in bed with? Is that top? Like, which one holds more weight? You get which one should you tackle first? I think religion is the lowest hanging fruit and the one that you should tackle first because it's more of an individual thing. Like the individuals slowly wake up, right? And then once the individuals wake up, they form the group, they form the body. Then the body can now work to overturn the government that's corrupt and da 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 da. But because they're not like waiting on somebody outside of themselves going to save them one day. So there, I answer my own question. It's having so it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg, Larry? Right? Because it's like, okay, he says the best way to increase the number of people who identify as atheists or non-religious is to have a more stable country. Yeah, but you can't just like bring a stable country into existence, right? So it's like, how do you get the country more stable to have more people identify as non-religious? Even many of the countries in the last are becoming less stable, and people are becoming more religious in society as a whole. I find that odd though that people in 2026 are becoming religious, or like comfort. But again, I know it's very on an individual basis. Like, motherfucker said he took a psychedelic trip and found God, right? So it's gonna be on the individual. Or some people be so down bad that it's like, I think it's like throwing spaghetti to the wall and hoping it sticks. Like I don't know what other option I have if my life is just so down bad. So let me just try this. They say, I guess, Pascal's wager in a way. like, let me just try to give the God thing a try. And then somehow they either still suffer, but it's okay because they can attribute it to some trial and tribulation or some feat on the other side of the struggle, or they struggle less and they attribute that to a God when it really is like a mindset shift, some action, some other, all types of other things that could have been attributed to the less struggle. Oh, very true about Nigeria. Yes, very true. What? Who said it once? Like the most valuable resource in Nigeria is being exported, and it's not oil. That is the people. The most valuable resource of Nigeria is its people. It's intelligent people. They come to the United States and are the top doctors, engineers, and lawyers, and all this kind of stuff. They go to the UK, same thing. But if you would have just stayed in your country, you know. But I was gonna say I get it, but then whatever. That's a lot. I'd be feeling exhausted because part of me is like, okay, we talk about deconstructing and leaving a religion, and it's one thing to say like go towards atheism, but like, what are the what is the plan? Like, what are the actionable steps that we are proposing? Right? Because somebody's question, I think I answered it, but it still was, I think, both a vague question and a vague answer, right? Will atheism help Africa? I'm saying it in less words than what you wrote, but yeah. Do you think atheism will help Africa? Right? First of all, that's 54 countries. Hi, hello, 54 countries. 5-4, 54. Um, so there's that, and then it's like I don't know, like atheism. I was gonna say let's say atheism, which it is, but not like denominationally. But like, are you a secular humanist? Or are you just like, I don't believe in a God, move on? Because not every atheist is like looking for forward movement, I guess, or progress. Maybe I'm lying. I don't know if I would say that, but not nobody's can't generalize. So yeah, I think it's like kind of where we have to come in and come up with a. Y'all heard all that. Yeah, I'd rather you do that than come and bite me. Look. So yeah, what I'm saying is like I think we now do have to look forward, and people will be like, "Oh, if you don't believe in, or you're telling people not to believe in God, what are you telling them to believe in?" Or like, and I'm just like, yeah, I will leave it at that. Like, I don't know, but like, okay, maybe we got to get together and figure out what it is that we are wanting people to believe in or to do. If it's like, okay, don't believe in anything but yourself or fellow man, okay, cool. So what does that look like? What are we doing? Um, so yeah, secular humanist perspective. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna catch you on the next live. But in the meantime, in between time, go and binge all the videos on my channel. Like I said, I'm going to get back to my weekly schedule so that you can have things that you can watch and engage with and learn from or laugh with or whatever the fuck. Whatever happens with my videos, do the things, share it, like your comment, all the things. And if you're here, I'm going to assume that you're subscribed to me already. If you're not subscribed to me already, please do so, unless you're a weirdo who's going to like, I don't know. But on that note, I will see you guys next time. See you in the next video. See you in these YouTube streets. And y'all stay safe, stay up, go for a walk. I don't know what time it is where you are right now, but if you are able, if you are capable, go for a walk. Go jog. Go get your heart rate up. You know what I'm saying? Do a little at-home workout, something. But all right, y'all, have a good one. Bye.